With the clock ticking towards a brand new year, Big 12 play begins in Lubbock as Baylor visits Texas Tech. Couple of top 25 teams getting together here at the United Supermarkets Arena. The Bears ranked 18th, the Red Raiders number 22 in the latest AP poll. Hello again, everyone. I'm John Harris along with Chris Level. Chris, somebody's going to be very happy going into the new year. What do you expect from this game tonight?
Well, this will be a battle. This is what we've wanted, is league play to get here in a loaded Big 12 conference. You will see two teams go at it tonight that can't afford to start out 0-1. And for Texas Tech, you have to protect home court. You can't afford to lose a home game here tonight.
No, and I think that's the big thing. The Red Raiders have to find a way to protect the court here at the United Supermarkets Arena. Let's talk a little bit now about our Carillon scouting report this evening. How do the Red Raiders protect that court?
I am fascinated to see what we get from Texas Tech's two true freshmen that have combined for about 20 points and 8 rebounds, and Jarrett Culver and Zaire Smith. They have been a storyline for this basketball program so far in November and December. However, we've all wondered, okay, can they do it when the Big 12 play starts? That's when it counts. That's when you really earn your keep. And so what do we see from those two tonight? It'll go a long way in what kind of opener Texas Tech has and what kind of league season Texas Tech has. So we'll keep an eye on Culver and Zaire both tonight.
There is some big news coming out of the Baylor basketball camp, but it does not involve the guy that makes them go.
Yeah, Manu LeConte is absolutely everything that you would want in a playmaker for Baylor. This is the guy that makes everything go. He is smooth. He can shoot it. He will make you pay from the free throw line, shooting about 93% from the stripe. So he will handle the ball a ton tonight, and it's up to Texas Tech to not allow that to happen. Get the ball out of his hands.
Now, their big man not going to be playing.
Joe Luau Achuil, he is, what Baylor is known for, that long center that they anchor that zone defense. He is not going to play tonight. This changes things drastically for Scott Drew and the Baylor program tonight as they play that zone defense, and you don't have your big 7-footer with all that wingspan in there. So Terry Maston is going to take his place in the starting lineup and play. So we'll keep an eye on how that progresses.
That's your scouting report brought to you by Carillon, the official retirement community of Texas Tech Athletics. Baylor Bears and the Red Raiders. Chris Beard looking for a win. The keys for that happening for him.
Well, you have to win the rebounding battle. That's Baylor's identity. That's how they score on offense, is those second chance opportunities. You must simplify. They will switch. Baylor will man-to-man in those zone defenses, and you don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out what they are going to do. And then Keenan Evans has got to play better than LeConte, just to be honest with you, and that's going to go a long way in deciding this game as well.
Couple of ranked teams, the Baylor Bears and the Texas Tech Red Raiders from the United Supermarkets Arena right here in Lubbock. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox.
This Texas Tech broadcast on Fox Sports is brought to you by Bud Light, proud friend of the Red Raiders, famous among friends. AmericanCampus.com, where students love living. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Here at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, it's Texas Tech and the Baylor Bears for Scott Drew tonight. Here's his starting lineup as we look at the American Campus Community starting lineups. It's Mark Vidal for the first time this season, Manu LeConte, Nooney Omot, King McClure, and Tristan Clark. For Chris Beard and the Red Raiders, it's the usual group of Justin Gray, Naeem Stevenson, Zach Smith, Keenan Evans, and Norintz Ode-Ase. Chris Level, a couple of ranked teams tonight going at it here in Lubbock.
Which is the first time that has happened since 2004, and it's the first time that these two teams have ever played each other when ranked, so it should be fun.
Our starting lineups brought to you by American Campus Communities, where students love living.
Baylor starts out in that, it's a hybrid, it's a matchup zone of sorts. They switch things up quite a bit. And that's the one thing that Baylor cannot afford. They're going to play 7 guys tonight for the most part, they can't afford to get any of their bigs or any size that they've got, and they're lacking some obviously tonight without Luau Lachuil in the game. They can't afford to get anybody in early foul trouble.
Officials in tonight's game are Joe DeRosa, Jerry Pollard, and Jeb Hartness. The Red Raiders have drawn the second foul from the Bears here on this opening offensive possession. And somewhere between the game for Baylor against Southern and the plane trip to Lubbock for the Red Raiders and opening up Big 12 play, their big man, 7-footer Luau Lachuil, came up with a bad ankle. He's in a boot on the bench. Will not play. Keenan Evans, long three. Good sign for the Red Raiders when Keenan hits that long one to start.
And that was the storyline when these two teams played in this building last year. Red Raiders really got hot from behind the arc, and looks like Justin Gray right there banged his knee up. He is wincing right now as he's got Omat right over there guarding in the corner. He shook it off.
We at some point tonight will see Terry Maston for the Bears, who broke his right hand against Xavier. Manu LeConte there at the shot clock gets it for the Bears. His left hand is wrapped up as well, Chris. And we don't know why, but it's something to keep an eye on. But as you see right there, he is smooth. A nice possession right there for the Bears as they work the shot clock down. And LeConte will shoot it a ton tonight. If his shots are going in, they're going to be in this game. One thing that Chris Beard mentioned to Zach Smith in their shoot-around today was shoot the basketball tonight, be aggressive against the Bears, and Zach does it right there. Red Raiders have stretched their margin to 3.
In fact, tossed out the number 20.
Yeah.
Don't care if it takes 20 attempts from you. I want you to be aggressive. Shot drops right there for Zach Smith. And he did not have the best non-conference season for the Red Raiders. Getting him going will be vital for the Red Raiders as the weeks roll along in January and February.
Air ball there by McClure of the Bears. The Red Raiders going to run. And, you know, against Abilene Christian in the Red Raiders' last regular season game before Big 12 play starts, Zach Smith had 16 in that game, and that's what you've been looking for out of your power forward throughout the season. But you're right, he had just not been a big offensive contributor at all. Odiase, Justin Gray. Red Raiders have shot the ball well in the early going.
Yeah, you know, and in this, again, I mentioned that game last year between these two teams. The Red Raiders knocked off Baylor then. They were ranked 4th in the country, and Justin Gray went for 13 and 10 in that one and heating up here tonight. And they will need, you know, him to heat up offensively as league play gets going.
One of his 3 career double-doubles against the Bears a year ago. Mark Vidal on the drive. Redshirt freshman for the Bears scores. He's starting tonight for the first time this season.
Yeah, and he's an energy guy that they'll tell you that he bounces around pretty good. They call him Baby Rico after Rico Gathers, who's now playing tight end for the Dallas Cowboys.
Keenan Evans long on the shot there. Odiase underneath the rebound, and now trapped by the Bears. Ball pulled away by Omat. And a jump ball situation, basketball to the Baylor Bears. Now, you talked in the pregame about Jarrett Culver and Zaire Smith. They enter the game for the Red Raiders along with Tommy Hamilton.
If they'll play like they did in the non-conference, this is where Tech has the advantage in this game tonight. It's just depth, overall athleticism. Is Chris Beard wants to go 10 or 11 guys, and Scott Drew's only going to play likely about 7 guys. But Culver and Zaire, a lot of eyes are on them, and here goes Jarrett Culver.
Culver on the breakaway after the Red Raider block. King McClure fouled him before he could get off the good shot. That's the 3rd team foul against the Bears, and Jared Culver will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, you've got one on Vidal, and then King McClure, and Clark has also got a personal foul. Again, that's not something that Baylor can withstand too much of.
Red Raiders have struggled as of late at that free throw line. Culver, who shot the ball well early in the regular season, has trailed off himself, now only a 55% shooter. Zach Smith will sit down. Justin Gray off that Red Raider bench, but free throw shooting for the Red Raiders has been a problem in their last 4 games, only at 51%, but 1 of 2 for Culver. And the Red Raiders have doubled up the Bears here in the early going.
And it seems like when Culver and Smith come in the game, and they are, you know, the first guys off the bench typically, the pace speeds up, which is what when Texas Tech's at its best.
Both of them average in double figures for Chris Beard, and the Red Raiders, they take pride in this defensively. Keenan Evans drawing the charge from LeConte.
And Scott Drew's going to have to go to his bench early right here. Is LeConte runs over Keenan Evans right there. He's going to come out of the game. Again, that is huge. So right now, if you're Texas Tech, you've got, and Chris Beard will, he will put Davide Moretti in the game and kind of take advantage of LeConte being on the bench. But no Joel Achuil and then no LeConte in the game here early on, which is a huge advantage for the Red Raiders. Can they take advantage?
Jake Lindsey is the guy who comes in, but traveling on the outside by Zaire Smith. Early on in this one at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, it's the Red Raiders 8, Bears 4. 12 conference opener for the Red Raiders, who won 11 of their 12 non-conference games. The Bears are 10-2, and both are nationally ranked. Let's throw it over now to the third member of our team tonight, Adam Doyle.
Yeah, guys, talking to this Texas Tech coaching staff earlier today, they gave me 3 keys in this game. They said, one, like you guys had mentioned, we have got to win the rebounding battle tonight if we expect to beat Baylor. 2, we got to get the Bears out in transition, beat that zone down the floor, and then from there, let's try to get some easy points and accrue some fouls for the Bears. We've already seen that go Tech's way early and often. And third, they said, guys, listen, our bench is huge. It's already been big for us this year. We've led the Big 12 in bench scoring. We need our bench to be big tonight. 11-man rotation for Tech, just a 7-man rotation for Baylor. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Bears, you guys talked about it, Joe Lual Achuil Jr. not playing tonight. Guys, statistically, that's 2.5 blocks a game, and that young man leads the conference in total rebounds and defensive rebounds. Terry Maston, as you said, as Justin Gray gets a steal and takes it the other way. But Terry Maston going to get some minutes in his absence. He's not 100%, guys. We'll see how that plays into this one.
Bears were trying to get the ball to Maston a moment ago, and Gray stole it but could not finish on the offensive end for the Red Raiders. But Terry Maston is in the ballgame for the first time since breaking his hand against Xavier 6 games ago. Nooney Omat scoring there for the Bears on the baseline to narrow the Red Raider lead down to only a bucket. Keenan Evans trying to get the Red Raiders set up on the offensive end. Jared Culver had been on the baseline. Keenan wanted him back up top. Red Raiders have the game's only 3-pointer, and the Bears do not have their best 3-point shooter in the game at the moment. Keenan Evans, second 3 on the way, good.
Yeah, I think the premise is that, you know, Scott Drew wants to slow the game down a little bit just because of the lack of depth and the lack of size without Lual Achuil in the game. But they want you just to kind of pass it around. You're going to get those 3-point looks at the beginning and at the end of the possession. Can you knock them down? But he'd love for you just to kind of pass it around and see what happens. That plays right into their hands, but Keenan Evans knocks it down right there.
King McClure trapped there on the left side by the Red Raider defense. That was Lindsey on the drive and threw it away. And Maston and Omat were there.
Lindsey threw Maston a fastball right there. And that's, do you think that that's hand issue? Is that something that he probably hasn't caught a pass like that in a month since he went down? And so that's just one of those things that you can get on the treadmill, you can do all kinds of things, you can swim, whatever you need to do, try to think you're staying in shape until you get out here, until that basketball starts coming flying at you at close proximity. You can't replicate it. So interested to see kind of how he handles the pace of play.
Not a guy that just, oh wow, the Red Raiders called for an offensive foul as Zach Smith tried to get the ball down inside to Tommy Hamilton, and the Red Raiders have turned it over again. Chris Beard says to win this game tonight, no more than 8 turnovers, and you can see Tommy Hamilton kind of wrapping the arm around Tristan Clark in the paint to try to set up better offensive position.
Yeah, a bit of a hook right there. He didn't grab him, but he did wrap that arm around there.
LeConte back in the ball game, lost the dribble for a moment, but got it back from Naeem Stevenson. Here's Clark again, a true freshman out of San Antonio, big kid. Looks really good. Maston first shot, rainbow not there. Hamilton clearing for the Red Raiders. Mark Vidal down. It's 5-on-4 for the Red Raiders. Naeem Stevenson to Zaire. Here's Davide Moretti. Shot deflected by Lindsey, but grabbed by Zach Smith and tied up. Nooney Omat, or no, it was Terry Maston reached over. Tied up Zach, who winces a bit. Chris, on the floor.
He went down. I don't know if that's ankle or knee. You're going to see trainer Chris Williams come check him out.
Oh, there it is. He rolled up that ankle when he stepped on Maston's ankle. I think you'll probably see it here. Well, it'll be out of the picture there, but when he comes down, he rolls up that left ankle.
Yeah, that is not now all is evened up as far as bigs being injured for these two teams. If Zach Smith cannot come out, but it looks like they're going to try to tape it up over there and see what they can get done.
Tommy Hamilton can't get the shot to go. Zaire Smith flying in after the miss. Can't get the follow shot to go. LeConte trying to do something with the basketball. Maston inside. And they're going to not call him for traveling, which a lot of Red Raider fans were certainly hoping for. Instead, the foul on Zaire Smith. Clearly, Terry Maston has not been practicing basketball for a while.
Well, and that's a walk in most arenas. I don't know Jeb Hartness what he saw right there, but you see the kind of the hop, skip, and the jump right there as he shuffled those feet. But they call that a foul.
Did not call it in the act of shooting. Here's Clark again over Justin Gray and Lorenzo Diace, who had just re-entered for the Red Raiders with the defensive rebound. Counting down towards 12 minutes remaining in this first half. Red Raiders leading 11-6. Jared Culver back up top to Davide Moretti. Justin Gray jumper had hit earlier in the game, but Lorenzo Diace an offensive rebound. Back up, foul. Draws the foul from Tristan Clark, and another foul against the Baylor Bears, their 5th here in the first half.
Yeah, Norris almost kicked that thing back out. See, those shots are going to be there around the perimeter. This is what Baylor wants you to do. What they don't want is for you to pound it inside and be aggressive right there. And at some point, they will not foul you. You're going to get those open looks because some of those guys have got to stay in the game, like a Tristan Clark.
Odiase, a 50% free throw shooter, the 6'9" junior out of Fort Worth.
And I say Clark, and that's his second foul. He comes out. What does Scott Drew do? Does he do like a lot of coaches? Does he allow him to come back at all in this first half, or does he keep him out for the remainder of the first half like a lot of coaches would do?
Odiase not able to connect on either of those free throw attempts. Here's LeConte up top, defended by freshman Jared Culver. They'll do a lot of movement with LeConte to try to get him an open look. Odiase left Maston on the outside, and an air ball from Maston allows the Red Raiders back on the offensive end.
Hard to get back in a rhythm when you've been out of the loop for a month like Maston has been.
Nice look underneath by Naeem Stevenson, and Jared Culver delivers.
That's a nice pass right there by Naeem Stevenson under the basket right there for an easy bucket.
Red Raiders lead it 13-6. These teams split their games a year ago, and in fact they have split their last 4 meetings. Nooney Omot, top of the key, has a size advantage on Naeem Stevenson. Jumper off the mark. And the Red Raiders have an opportunity here to extend that lead of 13-6. Keenan Evans inside. Ball stripped, and they'll call Keenan on the charge. Maston drawing that charge. And we'll take a break here. Red Raiders leading Baylor 13-6. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox.
Texas Tech.
Back at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, where the Red Raiders lead here in the early going over the Baylor Bears. I think, Chris, the story of this one, early foul trouble for the Baylor Bears, but Terry Maston off that bench for the Bears has drawn a couple of fouls against Red Raiders. A moment ago, Keenan Evans on the drive.
He's a bit out of control. You can tell he's rusty, but he has drawn 2 fouls on Texas Tech. And the rebounding battle is 10-3 in favor of Texas Tech. If you'll notice, as they get up and down the floor, when the game slows down, though, you'll notice you've got 5 red or 5 gray jerseys crashing the glass, whereas with Baylor, they're only sending three guys, and that's a big reason we're up 10-3 on the glass.
Yeah, and one of those things that Chris Beard says is necessary to win this game is to win the boards. Hey, let's get an update on Zach Smith from Adam Doyle.
Yeah, guys, over here, head trainer Chris Williams was working on the left ankle of Zach Smith. He retaped it on top of the original tape. They got the sock back on. He was able to limp it off a little bit, put the shoe back on, and we'll expect to see him back in this game. Now, meanwhile, on the other side for Baylor during that timeout, Coach Drew imploring his defense, guys, just pack that zone a little bit tighter and let's focus on guarding Keenan Evans. Meanwhile, on the offensive end, guys, you're being too passive. This is a health-oriented defense. Drive and kick, and let's see if we can get some points.
Well, speaking of aggressive, Mark Vidal for Scott Drew on the drive, the 6'5", 230-pound redshirt freshman. Drawing a foul, he'll go to the free throw line.
In the foul count, 4-0 in favor of Texas Tech early on in the game. So the 4 fouls had been called on Baylor. You look up now, and that is magically about evened up. It's funny how that works. The officials say that that's not the intent, but typically that's the way it works. But 5 fouls now on the Bears and 4 on the Red Raiders as Mark Vidal will attempt his second free throw.
It's been a while since the Bears have been able to score. Vidal breaking a 4-minute-plus drought to pull the Bears within 6 of the Red Raiders. Some pressure in the backcourt by the Bear defense. Zaire Smith across that midcourt line for the Red Raiders. Red Raiders playing at home against a ranked opponent for only the 4th time in their basketball history. Here's Zaire Smith. Nice jumper there by the true freshman.
Right there at the top of the key, and Baylor in that zone defense. They call that 11 defense that Baylor does. Those 2 guards at the top are right there on the elbows are kind of a piston, and they move up and down. As one moves up, the other moves back on the backside. But Zaire Smith found a soft spot right there at the top of the key, knocked down the jumper.
A little bit easier to shoot that without a 7-footer standing in the middle of that zone for the Bears, but nice drive by LeConte. Uses that left hand that's all wrapped up.
Smooth. He is one of the smoothest guys in the Big 12 Conference, and again, as we talked about in the pregame, he is what makes them go.
Second leading scorer in the Big 12, and Zaire, who had made the nice play a moment ago, there looking inside at Tommy Hamilton and fired that into the seats. Another turnover by the Red Raiders. That's their 5th of the game, and Chris Beard just adamant that to win this game, you can't turn the ball over like that.
Not at all, not especially unforced. And those are the jitters we wanted to see. I think Zaire Smith missed defensive rotation on LeConte's left-handed layup. It went into the floor, comes down the other end, throws it away. And so that's what you want to see from these freshmen. How do they handle this big crowd and much better competition than they have seen?
Only 3-point attempt by the Bears tonight so far from Terry Maston. And LeConte trying to find Tyson Jolly on the baseline, fires one into the seats as well. Maybe both of these teams have a bit of the nerves here.
A little bit, and Keenan Evans really lucky he didn't get a fingertip on that ball. Otherwise, it's still Baylor's basketball.
9:30 to go in the first half. Red Raiders leading 15-9 over the Bears. A lot of standing around on the Red Raiders on the offensive end. One of those things that Beard says you absolutely cannot do, but creating offense, Jared Culver.
And you know, you mentioned that, John, about Rusty and whatnot. Both teams have been off for a week. You had Christmas in the midst of that. Now you're expected to be playing at a really high level as your conference play starts. So maybe we're seeing some of that right here tonight.
Bears unable to take advantage of Mark Vidal right at the point-blank range of that rim. Here's the Red Raiders. Culver. Hamilton's a good 3-point shooter, and he shows it there.
Well, you see Maston a little late on the closeout. He is laboring, coming up and down the floor. He is gassed.
Tommy Hamilton's 8th 3 of the year. Here's LeConte for the Bears. Off the iron, not good. Scramble underneath, that's Maston. And they'll call a foul on the Red Raiders.
And that's a good job by Maston right there on the glass, outworking everybody. He set the high pick. I did not see the foul. But now that's 3 fouls that Terry Maston has drawn on Texas Tech.
Big body inside at 6'8", 225, was averaging right at 12 points a game. before being injured against Xavier. Had not played in 6 games. Boy, in a battle underneath between Jolly and Davide Moretti. Wrestling match there. But the Bears do get the ball inbounded to LeConte. Justin Gray had drawn the assignment for a moment. Gave away to Jared Culver. Maston on the baseline. Shot not good and run down by Davide Moretti.
Just no touch right there for Maston at all. Just everything seems a bit off, but he's doing what he can for his team. And I thought on that inbounds play right there, I thought they would go right after Davide Moretti. You mentioned that battle underneath.
Wow. Collision over here on the side as Tommy Hamilton chasing a basketball, colliding with Vidal. Red Raiders do lead it, though, 20-9 over Baylor here in Lubbock. You're watching Texas Tech. Big 12 opener for both of these teams, and Texas Tech's Red Raiders on top of the Baylor Bears 20-9 here in this opening half. Hey, you can get a family 4-pack to see these Red Raiders take on the Kansas State Wildcats. The sale is available only December 31st through January 1st. You can purchase those tickets online at texastech.com and use the promo code New Year's. Red Raiders have held the Bears to only 9 points through 12+ minutes of this game, Chris, and the Red Raiders, who lead the Big 12 and are ranked number 2 in the nation in scoring defense. They're 3rd in the country in a field goal percentage by their opponents, and they're putting all of the clamps on the Baylor Bears right now.
Yeah, Baylor has not yet made a 3. They have not scored in the last 2.5 minutes or so, and that's clearly the storyline here so far. And the fact that Texas Tech winning that rebounding battle right now 13-5. We keep an eye on that because that is a huge key to this game.
Clark, a shot from the outside, going to run in there, get his own offensive rebound, but unable to control it. The Bears are 4 of 14 shooting the basketball. That's right at 30% for the game.
Scott Drew's got Tristan Clark back in the game with those 2 personal fouls, but a little out of control on the jumper.
Brandon Francis at the top of the key for the Red Raiders. 8 on the shot clock. Here's Culver, big size advantage over LeConte. 3-pointer off the front iron, rebounded by Norris Odiase, laid it off to Culver, who follows up the miss and scores.
With his left hand, that's an excellent job by Norris right there. A second chance opportunity created by that big junior post player right there for the Red Raiders and Norris Odiase.
6'5" freshman from here in Lubbock scores for the Red Raiders. King McClure off the front iron, and the Red Raiders trying to hustle up the floor. Moretti around Vidal, just got clobbered underneath. Jake Lindsey may be the, oh no, did they call that on Clark? That'll be his 3rd foul, and he'll be out. Terry Maston returning for the Baylor Bears.
And now Baylor is in a bind because this changes. See what Clark does when they play that zone defense, he anchors it in the paint. He plays block to block. He's not somebody that wants to leave the paint. They don't really have much size. They may have to move Maston over there and play that, which is not typically something that he does. He's more on the wing. As you see the substitution right now, they may have to play more man-to-man defense, which is not something they're necessarily comfortable with.
No, and their numbers may make that difficult as this game goes along. I've talked about the Red Raiders' problems at the free throw line, but not with Davide Moretti. Just tremendous look at the line. A 90% free throw shooter on the season, and Davide delivers a couple of more for the Red Raiders, who now lead the Bears by 15.
And I don't know what was more smooth, the free throws right there that he makes or the head fake and the hesitation dribble right there that gets him to the bucket and got him those free throw opportunities.
Bears want the basketball in the hands of Manu LeConte, the senior out of Brussels, Belgium, 2nd leading scorer in the Big 12. Justin Gray drawing the assignment on that trip. Here's Vidal inside, tried to turn against Naeem Stevenson, lost the basketball, but is called for the charge into Stevenson, knocking him down.
Yeah, Jerry Pollard trying to figure out, I think, who the call is on. He's going to call it on Vidal. Yeah, 1-1 right now. The Red Raiders hit the bonus with 6:11 to go left in the half.
A lot of time, and
See, and this is where you say right now, you can really hurt Baylor and put this game, you know, go to halftime with a comfortable lead if you take care of business at the free throw line, which is not something the Red Raiders have been particularly good at in the non-conference. Jerry Pollard's going to go take a look at the video monitor right now.
Just to make certain they've got the foul on the right Baylor Bear. Red Raiders do have a 9-0 run working in the last 3-10 against Baylor. They just cannot find any offense.
And at some point, Baylor will heat up and they'll knock down a couple of those threes that they've attempted. But everything just appears to be a bit off. And credit to Texas Tech defensively for not giving them any easy looks at all. They've really clamped down and hammered LeConte every time he's gotten loose with the basketball. Yeah, Naeem Stevenson, so they corrected it. Not that there was any issue. They've confirmed it, I should say.
You've got Clark on the bench. You've got Maston, who's not played in 6 games, trying to play himself back into shape. And the 7-footer for the Bears with a boot on his left ankle, not playing tonight. So a very short bench for the Bears as Scott Drew stands up and looks down that direction. There just aren't many options for him. And the Red Raiders have hit their last 4 free throws as Naeem gets them both, and the Red Raiders extend the advantage. 5 of 8 at the line for the Red Raiders, only 1 of 2 for Baylor. LeConte has Lorenzo Dease on him now out front. Opportunity there to shoot, got it off in time, but still the Bears don't have a three-pointer.
Boy, I guarantee you when Lorenzo Dease woke up this morning, he did not think he'd be guarding Manu LeConte on the double T logo out here in midcourt. But that's a good closeout right there, and he forces the miss. Texas Tech down at the other end, going to get a couple more free throw opportunities.
Out near Dalhart on that big image of Texas on the court here in Lubbock, and that is a long shot for LeConte, but it would not go. The Red Raiders' run of consecutive free throws is over as Zaire Smith misses there. Here's Tommy Hamilton back on as Odiase will rest for a moment or two.
And that coaching staff loves the hustle of number 32. We're in gray tonight. How about that? We haven't touched on that. The grays look pretty good for the Red Raiders, and got the neon green for
Bears in their highlighter uniforms.
Yes.
Trying to take advantage of a mismatch there. Lindsey trying to work over Davide Moretti, but cannot score. Drought continues for the Bears. .5:20 to go in the first half, 27-9, the Red Raider advantage. Zaire not a great outside shooter. That one rattled out. The Bears on the move. Not looking for an opening, can't find it in the corner. Omott's a good long distance shooter as well, but he can't draw the shot that he wanted. In the scramble afterwards, it's the Red Raiders basketball.
I think the Red Raiders clearly got the message from their head coach about crashing the glass. I mean, it's a bit of a mismatch right now. Now, some of that obviously has to do with Joe Lual-Achuil not being in the game, as he averages, as he has 6 double-doubles so far this season. But still, it's Texas Tech manhandling the Bears on the glass, which is not something that Baylor is used to seeing.
No, the Red Raiders have a 17-7 advantage. There's Brandon Francis on the drive for the Red Raiders, and now the lead by Texas Tech is 20 over Baylor. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. LeConte trying to find some space to operate out front. Left it for Maston. He's not going to shoot it from there necessarily. Omont will on the baseline against Jared Culver. Lost the basketball, but a foul against the Red Raider freshman.
Yeah, you don't want to bail him out right there. Maston clearly was like, what do I do with it out here? This is not something that he was comfortable with, but Texas Tech does a good job of not letting LeConte, with the opportunity as they make him kick it back out. But Jared Culver bails Baylor out. Chris Beard talking to him right now. Go straight up, young man. Go straight up or you're going to get called for you having your hand in the cookie jar.
Omont at 6'9" had the size advantage. In fact, this is an interesting story. At junior and high school, he was only 6'1" and has grown 8 inches since then. King McClure averages 12 a game, got the 3 there. The Baylor drought over, but they are still way behind the Red Raiders as we count down towards the end of the first half. Tommy Hamilton, open look off the iron. Justin Gray, the offensive rebound. Tangled up inside with McClure. Red Raiders do lead it 29-12. You're watching Texas Tech TV right here on Fox. From the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, it's the Red Raiders, ranked 22nd in the country, the number 18 Baylor Bears, and the home team with the big lead at the moment. Now you can join us on our next broadcast. It's next Saturday, January the 6th, as the Red Raiders host the Kansas State Wildcats. Tip-off is set for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Red Raider basketball right here on Texas Tech TV on Fox.
We still have not seen Zach Smith, John, for the Red Raiders. We will not see any more of Tristan Clark for the Bears in the rest of this first half. He's got 3 personal fouls, so Baylor has had to go small. I think Scott Drew's probably had to play Terry Maston quite a bit more than he was comfortable with here in the first half as they ease him in from being gone for a month.
Maston's played 11 minutes in this first half, and this is a guy that has not played in their last 6 games with that broken right hand. So you wonder just when the tank runs empty from Maston. But he is on the court now for the Bears. They've got LeConte, Nooney Omot, King McClure, and Jake Lindsey, and LeConte just threw it to Red Raider assistant coach Chris Ogden on the Red Raider bench.
Coach Ogden more than happy to try to catch that pass from LeConte. 7
turnovers for the Bears. They've got only 5 baskets in the game. Trail the Red Raiders 29-12. Lorenzo Diase back in the ball game. There's Naeem Stevenson. Justin Gray traveled. Well, the Red Raiders have 6 turnovers here.
Just unforced right there on both ends of the floor by a couple of seniors.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Again, even the seniors get a bit jittery on opening night, if you will, as it relates to conference play.
Red Raiders are 7-5 in openers, Big 12 openers at home in their history. They're going to bring up Maston to set the pick for LeConte. Went the other direction, and Big 12's leading 3-point maker is on the board with that.
And that's a couple of threes right there for Baylor in the last 2 to 3 minutes, and that's what makes them go.
Moretti, 3-pointer, shot it quick, couldn't get. Wow, what about the play of Zaire Smith?
That is some serious athleticism right there. Again, it's just amazing how quickly he gets up in the air when he leaves the floor.
Like he hung in the air the entire time. But King McClure for the Bears, who've suddenly found the range. Back-to-back trips for the Bears, come up with points. 31-17, Red Raiders still have a big advantage. Justin Gray in the short corner went inside to Naeem Stevenson. King McClure, though, called for the foul. And Naeem, who has made a pair in the game, will be back at the free throw line. Red Raiders are 6 of 10 at the charity stripe.
Still not where you want it. I mean, at 60%, that is just not, you know, most teams hover around that 70, 72, 75% mark, and 60% right there, just not something that we've seen some. What was it, 7 of 21 versus the Rice Owls a couple of weeks ago for this basketball team.
Even 17 of 34 against Abilene Christian. Had a lot of opportunities in that last ball game before the holiday break. You won big, but could have been much more had you been better at the line. But Naeem is 4 for 4. Red Raiders by 16 with just over 2 minutes to go in this first half.
And without senior Zach Smith for most of it. He has got an ankle issue, and we have not seen him, hoping to get him back. But Red Raiders have had to go small, just like Baylor has, without their missing 7-footer.
Tyson Jolly with the shot there that came up short, and then a scrum underneath for the basketball. Brandon Francis of the Red Raiders in that mix, as was Mark Vidal. Tyson Jolly is a freshman out of Oklahoma City. Shot short there, kicked around, and then Jolly just dived on top of Francis trying to get at the ball. Bears have only 17 points. The fewest they have scored in a first half this season was 24 against Creighton. They may not get there. Odiase, Justin Gray, Naeem Stevenson, Keenan Evans, and Zaire Smith for the Red Raiders right now. 13 on the shot clock. Keenan Evans going to drive over LeConte. Got it.
Not a whole lot you can do right there if you're Baylor. That's just a tough shot, almost an ill-advised shot right there, but the senior able to knock down the floater right there at the end of the shot clock as it wound down, and that's kind of like LeConte on the other end when he hits that three from about 4 foot above the arc. Well, what are you supposed to do there?
Boy, if you're defending LeConte, though, you got to be on the move the entire time. Naeem Stevenson dropped off. Justin Gray picked him up. Shot by LeConte, not there. Zaire Smith over Maston to pull down the rebound.
Again, with the explosiveness. Comes down with it and is like, that's my basketball, Mr. Maston.
Wow. Keenan Evans up top. Jolly defending again, driving, but will pick up another foul against the Bears.
The jumpers are there to be had, but as Chris Beard has told his team leading up to this game, be aggressive. Drive it, drive it, drive it. And Baylor right now, the fouls are starting to mount for the Bears.
Keenan had 32, a career high against Nevada. And in that game, took over late and just drove the basketball virtually every time down the floor for the Red Raiders. Doing it here inside the final 40 seconds.
So Tristan Clark with 3. You've got King McClure with 2 personal fouls, and then Mark Vidal also with 2 personal fouls. That's going to be a problem late in this game for Scott Drew, who's clearly had to go much deeper into his bench than he wanted. And again, the Red Raiders doing this all without Zach Smith, who left with an ankle issue a couple of minutes into the game.
And is not on that Red Raider bench. 37-17, Red Raiders by 20 with 30 seconds remaining. LeConte near midcourt with the basketball, defended by Naeem Stevenson. Bears are going to put 4 down and just let LeConte work against Stevenson here as the clock winds down. Hesitation move, dropped it off to Vidal. Somebody got run over underneath, but Brandon Francis, I think, called for the foul. Chris Beard can't believe it.
Well, and Jerry Pollard actually watches him land and then decides to call the block. Like, watch this. So he lands and then he calls the block and points to Brandon Francis. And that's bad timing on Pollard's part.
Well, and Francis is outside the arc. He's standing still. LeConte ran over him.
Yeah, look at Pollard. Wait till he lands, and then he just looks down at Francis laying down and goes, "Okay, I guess that was a foul on you." That's poor timing, very poor officiating right there by Jerry Pollard.
And Vidal is the guy that he laid the basketball off to, and Vidal is the one at the line. So clearly some unhappy Red Raider fans and bench as Scott Drew calls timeout. His Bears are 10-2 on the season, ranked 18th in the country. Red Raiders at 11-1 are ranked 22nd.
And Jerry Pollard he's better than that. I've watched him over the years. That's just a mistake right there. At least on the timing part of that, it's just a bad look right there on the call. And 9.7 seconds left in this half. The Red Raiders up 37-18. It's again, you don't want to give the Bears any more. He's explaining it right now to Chris Beard right now. I don't know if Chris Beard is
not going to accept that. You can see what the Red Raiders have done off the bench. They lead the Big 12 in bench points. Here's Naeem as the rainbow jumper. Wow. That'll make up for that call a moment ago as Naeem throws in a rainbow as the Clock ends here in the first half. The Red Raiders way out in front of the Bears at 40-19. Adam Doyle has the Red Raider assistant, Chris Ogden.
Coach Ogden, this is as low of a point total as Baylor's had in the first half all season. What have you seen from your defense?
Our guys are locked in, they're guarding, they're playing personnel, and they're playing scout report.
You're winning bench points 19-0. How important is it that you keep utilizing your advantage on the bench?
That's great. This game's going to get down to rebounds.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Adam, the Red Raiders own the rebounding as well, a 14-rebound advantage and a huge advantage on the scoreboard as well. You're watching Texas Tech.
This Texas Tech broadcast on Fox Sports is brought to you by Carillon, the official retirement community of Tech Athletics. The Red Raider Club. Join the Red Raider Club today to help educate, grow, and serve fearless champions. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Conference opener for both Texas Tech and Baylor in that first half. All Red Raiders who lead by a huge margin there, 40-19. Our Adam Doyle caught up with Baylor's Scott Drew just a moment ago.
Coach Drew, the rebounding discrepancy and Tech's defense playing a big role in this one. What needs to change for your team in the second half?
Well, we need to get a rebound. We need to get some assists. And defensively, we got to do a better job in making them score outside the paint.
Obviously, the absence of your big man down low is wreaking havoc in this game. How do you adjust?
We got two absences. TJ's not back either, so we're down to one big. And Tristan, admire what TJ's trying to do out there, but right now we're obviously struggling.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Guys.
All right, thank you, Adam. That clearly is not the same Terry Maston that we saw score 22 against these Red Raiders here in Lubbock a year ago. His career best. He's trying to battle back from that broken hand and thrown into action, and a lot of it tonight here in Lubbock, and the Bears have struggled mightily in that first half. Red Raiders going to try and trap LeConte out near the midcourt stripe on their opening possession. Bears, though, get away. Here's Vidal inside. Missed the layup. It's been that kind of night for the Bears.
Wow. I mean, Chris Beard, his team tries to throw a punch right there, kind of with a little change up and gets what they want, and then Baylor beats it and then blows the layup right there. You're right, just been that kind of night. It'll be interesting to see how the game is called early on in the second half. Will largely dictate the outcome here. Baylor cannot afford to pick up too many fouls and send Texas Tech to the free throw line too much, as they're already 10 of 14 from the line, as we talked about at the half.
Well, Clark able to finish there, but he set down much of that first half with 3 fouls. Back on now, the Bears have their starting lineup back in the ball game. The Red Raiders do, with the exception of Zach Smith, who is back out and warmed up before this second half. Red Raiders, though, turned it over, and the Bears missing from the corner, but Norris Odiase fouling Nuni Omat, who will go to the line for 3 free throws.
Not what you wanted from Chris Beard's team out of the locker room right there. That's not the kind of start that he wanted. Some uncharacteristic, unforced errors right there. You foul on the 3. That just, again, allows Baylor to get back into this basketball game.
Omat, an 89% free throw shooter, and rolls off the rim. In that replay, I'm still looking for the contact and foul by Odiase. But Omat gets 3 opportunities and is going to get the friendly roll there.
With the missed first free throw, you say the ball don't lie.
Yeah.
I guess if there was no foul right there, I don't know.
Omat's got one more opportunity, and Adam's got an update on Zach Smith.
Yeah, guys, Zach Smith is over here on the exercise bike behind the Texas Tech bench getting warmed up. I'm told that it is a Coach Beard decision on whether he will return in this game or not.
Might have to do with whether or not this game gets close, and the Red Raiders right now by 17. The Bears have narrowed it just a bit here in this second half.
And if you're the Red Raiders, you've got a game in Lawrence, Kansas, staring you at the face, or in the face. This coming up Tuesday night, January the 2nd at 8 o'clock. Certainly going to need number 11 for the Red Raiders healthy for that one.
How about that start? You play Baylor here at home, go on the road to Kansas, and then come back home for Kansas State. Zaire Smith, jumper, no. Keenan Evans in the battle for the rebound, but perhaps off his hands, and Baylor gets it.
Not much working offensively for the Red Raiders early on here in the second half. A little token full court pressure right here for the Red Raiders. Going to try to slow slow the Bears down a bit. Get into that shot clock some.
Yeah, Tech shot 50% in that first half, but they have not found the range in the second half. Tristan Clark turns against Hamilton, lost the ball. Red Raiders run. Justin Gray out front, lays it in left-handed.
Boy, he almost got caught taking an extra step in traffic. That's a tough finish right there, as he did not put the ball on the floor, caught it, took 2 steps, and finished with his left hand. A little unorthodox, but athletic play right there by the senior.
Red Raiders again going to pressure LeConte in the backcourt, but nobody guarding Omot, who goes inside. Wow, blocked by Zaire Smith. Tristan Clark turn and again can't score. Red Raiders run. Justin Gray again gets his shot blocked by Vidal, but Keenan Evans ran it down, and the Red Raiders may try to set up the offense, but Gray's all alone inside. Back up top, Tommy Hamilton, 3, got it.
Yeah, whenever your big is out there knocking down threes, that is quite a weapon. Justin Gray right there in the short corner with the rebound. Wanted to go up, but when you kick it to a guy like Hamilton who can knock him down, that's pretty salty. Tommy's got a pair of threes in this one, and the Red Raiders have run that advantage up over 20 points again at 45-23. King McClure, long range 3 from right in front of Scott Drew on that Baylor sideline. This is the kind of battle, the back and forth that we expected in this game. Both of these teams emptying their bucket here early on in the second half. Back and forth got a little bit out of skew in that first half when the Bears struggled so badly from the field, and the Red Raiders just ran away from it. Naeem on the drive, got up in the air. Clark got his hands on the basketball as well, brought it down, but Vidal called for the foul. A bit out of control right there by Naeem. You want him to drive, but it's a bit forced right there, as you've got 3 neon green jerseys just walling you up right there on the block. But Naeem stayed with it. And I'll tell you what, Naeem really had a come-out, breakout game last year versus this Baylor team. And we saw that stretch where he really turned into be a scorer. We have we saw this conversation going on at halftime. This is a shorts issue with Brandon Francis. I'm thoroughly confused on what the issue is. They continue to talk to Brandon Francis about the way he's wearing his game shorts. I don't know what the issue is. Jeb Hartness and Chris Beard talking to Brandon Francis right now about his shorts. It's strange.
Meantime, Zaire Smith, who has no problem with his shorts apparently, drives inside and scores. It's the strangest thing, and Brandon Francis is at the scorer's table trying to cinch up the drawstring on his pants. He was given a thumbs up by the scoring crew there. Here's Maston again trying to turn inside. Vidal lays it up and friendly roll.
Boy, Chris Beard is as animated as you will see him. Knows how important it is. You cannot lose home games in this league race, because if you do, you've got to try to figure out where on the road am I going to go get one. When Naeem Zaire Smith got a little undercut right there on that rebound attempt.
Tough night for the Red Raiders. Smiths. Yes. Zach Smith rolled up an ankle in the first half, and Zaire, who can get up, comes down on the back of his head after that Baylor miss a moment ago, but he's still out there. A Red Raider miss, though, should have said. Naeem can't finish, but might be at the line when we return. 47-28 Red Raiders. You're watching Texas Tech TV on their 47-28 during the break here in Lubbock. The crowd introduced to Todrick Gocher, former Red Raider. He's from the same high school that produced Zaire Smith, and our Adam Doyle is standing by with Todrick right now.
Yeah, I'm happy to be joined by Todrick Gocher. Todrick, just talk about, this is one of the loudest cheers we've heard all night when you were honored. You're not far removed from wearing this uniform, but you're back. What's it mean to you to be back?
Man, it means everything. The fans are amazing, welcoming me back. It brings back memories and gives me chills, so I'm very glad to be here.
Well, you're playing professional basketball in France. Tell us where you are and what you're up to.
I'm in Cholet Basket in France, the west side of France, and just enjoying the professional life with my wife. So we're living the dream, and it's been amazing.
Quickly, they just said it over the intercom that you were a part of the team that went to the NCAA tournament. What does this team need to do to get back?
Oh, man, they need to keep defending the way they're defending, and they'll be very good. You can see they're so deep. They can defend any team in the country, so I think they're right where they need to be.
Thanks, Todrick.
Appreciate it.
Guys.
Thank you, Adam. Todrick Gocher, one of the crowd favorites. Guy that always, Chris, played at a top level, always gave it his best.
Yeah, he did. He always had the knack for hitting the big shot, too. Is that team, Todrick's senior year, they beat 5 ranked teams in 5 straight games. That is difficult to do. Went 9-9 in the Big 12 that year, and ended up playing Butler in the first round of the NCAA tournament there in Raleigh, North Carolina. Fun time for those kids.
Jake Lindsey on for the Bears, obviously trying the drive a moment ago. Jared Culver stripped it away, but the Bears keep the ball. Here's Maston working underneath, still can't find the range, and a whistle underneath. Davide Moretti, I believe, whistled for the foul. He was the Red Raider on the deck. Been that kind of night.
And this is a unique lineup that Chris Beard has on the floor right now. He's really gone small. He's got both true point guards in, and you've got Brandon Francis in playing the 3. So kind of a, and Jared Culver playing the 4, I should say. So a unique lineup as Baylor has had to go small because of their foul trouble and injury issues.
Wow, LeConte on the drive, got around a couple of Red Raiders, but still unable to finish. Very quick, 5'11", about 175, but he can shoot it. But the Red Raiders have done all they can do to be right on him everywhere he goes.
And so what Chris Beard has done, though, on this end of the floor, he's got his 4 best three-point shooters out here. They're playing 4 out, 1 in. And going to cause some problems for the Bears right there is Davide Moretti with the penetration.
Pull-up jumper by the true freshman out of Bologna, Italy. LeConte, of course, out of Brussels, Belgium. International flavor. Both of them have played for their international teams during the course of their careers. And wow, Keenan Evans is going to be whistled for a foul, trying to slap that ball away after the miss.
I guess Jerry Pollard says that he got a little hand or wrist right there as the ball comes loose.
Bears able to inbound under their own basket. That's Lindsey. King McClure may look like he ran over Keenan Evans and shot it off the side of the backboard, and there's no call. Keenan thought he had drawn a charge. You can watch it here. And the shot goes off the side of the backboard, and Keenan's just holding his hands up as best you can when you're laying on your back.
Yeah, he's just no call right there.
And he got whistled a moment ago for reaching out there and trying to slap a ball away. Hard to figure tonight. Brandon Francis laid it for Zaire, and look out.
Well, that is Brandon Francis playing very unselfishly right there. I thought he was taking that in to try to finish himself, but that's an elite assist, high-level assist right there, an elite finish, I should say, with a little chin-up right there from Zaire Smith on the rim. There's your foul on the Keenan Evans draws.
Jake Lindsey stepping in front of Keenan Evans, trying to defend LeConte, the offensive foul, but you get an idea just how quick that Zaire Smith can get up. Look at that.
And Chris Beard right now telling Brandon Francis to calm down. He's getting real excited right now. That's kind of how he is. He's an excitable young man, but I guarantee that assist right there that he just dropped off to Zaire Smith a second ago really pleases the head coach.
Brandon Francis, a Red Raider transfer from Florida, and international flavor with Brandon from the Dominican Republic, this time trying to go inside to Tommy Hamilton with the jump hook over Maston, but Zaire on the follow picks up the foul on Omot.
See Zach Smith over there on that bicycle, just kind of huffing and puffing, spinning those wheels on that exercise bike. But his team does not need him, fortunately, tonight. They will need him Tuesday night and going forward. But the Red Raiders have played really, really well, especially these young guys.
Zaire Smith on his average of 10 a game, adding to that with his 11th point tonight, and it's 55 28 Red Raiders. If it stays with this kind of advantage, Chris, that will turn some heads around the Big 12.
Yeah, and Zaire Smith with 11 and 4 tonight, and he didn't get much credit as a big-time freshman coming in, but I think the Big 12 Conference is going to learn about him, and this is a big reason why there's some serious expectations for this Texas Tech basketball team.
That's vital underneath for the Bears, and the 6'5" redshirt freshman out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, delivers. Red Raiders still, though, by 25. Lorenzo Diase, Culver, three-pointer on the way, good.
There you go, another true freshman right there. We wondered how they would do. Came in the Smith and the Culver combo, coming off the bench, averaging about 20 and 8, and right now they've got combined 21 points. So pretty fun opening night for these two.
LeConte got in the paint, tried to shoot it over Zaire, who deflected the ball but whistled for the foul. No one ever commits a foul.
Yeah, that's right. Even worse at the next level.
Wow, and LeConte, how about that?
That's a rare. You just saw Bigfoot right there.
Yeah, that is not a guy that misses at the free throw line. Better than 90%. Leads the Big 12, but did not get 2 of 2. He was 42 of 45 coming into the game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say.
Red Raiders trying to pound it inside. Odiase called for traveling.
I didn't even see him make a move right there. I just saw him turn and go up, but Joe DeRosa saw a travel, saw the feet shuffle right there underneath.
I'd say what the Bears like to do with LeConte is a lot like what we saw Wofford do with Fletcher McGee. Set him up down low and run him around that baseline and bring him up, but an offensive foul against Baylor. Red Raiders 58-31 over the Bears here on Texas Tech TV on Fox. 8:31, they will find themselves up on top of the Big 12 standings if they hang on to that. Chris, where we are now, let's take a look at the Big 12 non-conference standings brought to you by Plains Capital Bank.
Well, John, if you do the math right there, that's 102 and 16 combined for this league. And the teams that were picked 8th, 9th, and 10th, they're combined 29 and 6. You've got 8 of the 10 teams that are in action tonight. You've got Oklahoma, TCU tomorrow as they get after it. But this league is in great shape heading into conference play, and there's some talk that you could get as many as 8 teams in the NCAA tournament as these teams start to beat each other up because they all excelled in the non-conference with all big wins.
6 of those are nationally ranked. Tonight's Big 12 standings brought to you by Plains Capital Bank. Ride with the good guys at Plains Capital Bank. 2 of them are even in the top 10. West Virginia is ranked 7th in the country, and TCU, who has a very long winning streak working, is ranked 10th. So
TCU has not lost since Kansas City last year in the Big 12 tournament. After they beat Kansas, they went on to win the NIT and have not lost yet this year.
Red Raiders have 3 in double figures tonight. That pass by Naeem off the hands of Lorenzo Diase, out of bounds.
I would say, John, that pass was just really, really fast. It wasn't off of the hand. It was just way too fast. That's a two-handed pass right there that needed to take a little bit off of that one.
That's Tyson Jolly on the three-quarter court drive, running over Odiase, who draws the charge.
A little out of control right there for Jolly. He'd made up his mind as he crossed half court. I'm taking this thing to the bucket.
And he did, but Odiase was in the way, and another foul against the Bears. Jared Culver there with 10 tonight for the Red Raiders, and he lost the ball. That's the 9th turnover tonight for Texas Tech. One over the limit set by Chris Beard for his team, but good defense has put some shooting clamps on the Bears, and 9 turnovers is the same as Baylor has lost the basketball tonight.
And that rebounding battle, 31-13 now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Wow is right. This is a Baylor team that averages about 40 a game on the glass and out-rebounds their opponents on average by about 9 or 10.
Well, Naeem with the steal battled LeConte most of the way down the court, and the advantage to the size of Naeem Stevenson.
Naeem Stevenson, he loves playing Baylor.
Yeah, had that run where he had the 20-plus against Kansas, and then Baylor in that mix as well. Justin Gray called for the foul there. Here's that steal a moment ago. LeConte just a little bit lackadaisical trying to get to the ball. And
LeConte fouled him twice right there. As you see that right arm, LeConte pulls it twice, trying to get leverage right there. No call, and it ends up in a Red Raider bucket.
LeConte with 1 foul tonight, picked it up very early in the game, but his teammates got in much more trouble. And Baylor still with only Mark Vidal. They're in double figures. Started tonight for the first time in his Baylor career. Because of Luel Achuil's ankle injury, Baylor altered their starting lineup.
Red Raiders
nice pass. Wow, Odiase found Zaire, who's got 13 for the Red Raiders.
The C's parted right there. Great look right there to Zaire Smith from Norris Odiase. But I was going to mention, you'll see a much different Baylor team when you go to Waco in mid-February.
LeConte's 3 not there. Tyson Jolly, though, with the follow.
At least anything you can do, I can do better. Zaire with the dunk on one end, Jolly with the dunk on the other, the putback.
Jolly, a 6'4" freshman, climbing the ladder. Keenan Evans, 3 on the way, not there. Battle for the rebound, and Culver and Jolly each with their hands on the basketball. Possession arrow to the Red Raiders.
I don't think Chris Beard was necessarily comfortable with Keenan Evans' shot selection there. Not with the shot, but that it came so early on in the possession. I think, again, when you've got a lead like you've got, you want to work the clock a little bit. Don't pull the trigger on the first open look from behind the arc that you get.
It'll always be there.
Yes.
Keenan 2 for 4 tonight with 3-point attempts. Has 10 points in the ball game. Needs a couple of more to move into the top 25 all time at Texas Tech.
Interesting watching that inbounds play right there. As it's a 4-flat set. That's usually where Texas Tech goes to Zach Smith. Brandon Francis playing that role right there.
Keenan again on the drive, got it stripped, and the Bears have numbers. Vidal out front. Zaire Smith ran in front of him and disrupted the dunk attempt. Did not foul him, but just ran past him.
That's just hustle.
Did not expect to see the Red Raider freshman get right there past him.
And I think he knew Zaire may try to contest it. And so it just throws it off right there. Zaire doesn't touch him, and you're right. Just the sight of number 2 in that gray uniform, enough to throw off. Yeah, and he is he's dinged up over there.
Banged his hand on the rim, I would think, after that. And then when the ball came off, Keenan Evans trying to run it down. Got his hands on it, but out of bounds, and it is Baylor's basketball. But Vidal will head to that Baylor bench for a moment. They do not need another injured player.
And you just appreciate the hustle from the true freshman. Again, he just didn't give up on the play. Was likely going to end up in a dunk, but he does nothing wrong other than just hustling right there.
King McClure tried to back Zaire down, but had it stripped away. Turnover Bears. Jared Culver, there's another long 3 early on in the shot clock, but it found the spot.
And so now the 2 true freshmen are your 2 leading scorers. They've combined for 26 points. I would say that they have passed the early test as far as can they handle it in Big 12 play.
Scott Drew is going to call timeout. The Red Raiders closing in on a 30-point advantage over the Baylor Bears. It's 65-36 here in Lubbock. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Arena in Lubbock, it's Texas Tech and Baylor conference opener, Big 12 league opener for each of these teams, and it has been all Red Raiders tonight. Let's take a look at your 4 league leaders, Chris.
Yeah, and, you know, we've talked about this some tonight. These are two of the better rebounding teams in the Big 12 Conference. You've got Baylor came into the game averaging 40 boards, Texas Tech averaging 38, but they were out rebounding about, you know, both of them, you know, by about 10 on one, 7 for the other. But that's been the storyline of this game so far. It's 32-15 in advantage of Texas Tech. But if both of these teams continue to rebound like they did in the non-conference, they'll win many a ball game in league play, regardless if it's home or away. Just has not been Baylor's night. And again, Texas Tech made an emphasis on crashing the boards, all 5 players, every trip down the floor. It has paid off tonight.
Chris Beard saying before the game that rebounding was the biggest key to success for his Red Raiders, and they have done well there tonight. That's a look at your Ford League leaders. Visit your local Texas Ford dealers today. Ford is the best in Texas. Let's toss it over to Adam Doyle.
Yeah, guys, out of that timeout for Texas Tech, Chris Beard telling his team, guys, the only way Baylor gets into this game is if they win one-on-one matchups. Said our one-on-one defense has got to be expert down the stretch. He also said, guys, listen, Kansas is watching this tape. Kansas State is also watching this tape. We've got to be stone-faced. Don't be too emotional. Play like a professional, because we'll have to play Baylor again down the road.
They certainly will. Here's Clark inside. Tommy Hamilton called for the foul.
Yeah, and, you know, to Adam's point, after that timeout, Chris Beard just kind of makes this motion with his hand over his face, and that's what he's telling those kids. Just hang in there. Don't get too excited. We've done nothing yet, but don't disrespect the opponent or anything like that. But it's got to be hard. You're playing this well in front of a packed house, and this stuff's supposed to be fun. But I think Chris Beard trying to keep them in the moment and understanding you've got a long way to go.
These teams have split their last 4 games, each winning one a year ago, and the same thing the previous season. But Baylor has won 7 of the last 10 overall in this series. Clark at the line has 4 fouls for the Bears. Tommy Hamilton has a couple now as we are under 8.5 minutes to play. Red Raiders 65-38. Keenan Evans, that's Brandon Francis in the corner. Clearly you've got 3 really good outside shooters, and you might even throw Tommy Hamilton into that mix. Zaire inside, his pass intended for Francis tipped out of bounds by Lindsey.
7 seconds left on the shot clock here as we're ready for, I believe, the next media timeout under the 8-minute mark. About to come up.
Red Raiders realize that. Right back to Keenan Evans. Shot on the way. Not there. Tommy Hamilton ran it down, but then saved it inbounds to the Bears. Here's Omot across the midcourt stripe. Not the best dribbler, and he dribbles it out of bounds.
A little loose with the handles, wasn't he?
That is a 6'9" forward trying to bring it up the court. And there's your result. You're watching Texas Tech TV here on Fox. Tech with a win would go to 12-1 on the year. Baylor would be at 10-3, but still a lot of time to go, Chris. And while it seems unlikely, Chris Beard clearly stressing to his team, don't let this one get away.
Yeah, Baylor's just really struggled to shoot the ball tonight. They're just 32% on the night. They just needed to get some shots to fall and try to get back into this game. I wonder how long Scott Drew will stay in that zone defense, as that allows for a slower pace of play right now. And then you've got 7:53 left in this game, and you've got to speed this thing up and try to get back in it as you're down by quite a bit here.
If the Red Raiders do hang on, they will win their Big 12 home opener for the 2nd consecutive year. You beat West Virginia, ranked number 7 at the time a year. They're 7th this year as well, but you beat them a year ago here at home in overtime to open up Big 12 play. Tommy Hamilton, baseline jumper, not there. Clark clearing for the Bears, and Jake Lindsey very quickly up the court. Here's Omot, who dribbled out of bounds a moment ago, trying to work against Jarrett Culver. On the right side, trying to back down the Red Raider freshman, got the fadeaway jumper and picks up the foul.
Yeah, see, you want to be aggressive on defense, but that's not something you want to, if you're Jarrett Culver and you're Chris Beard, you don't want Jarrett Culver to contest a shot that closely from about 15 feet away right there. You see the replay, not a whole lot you were going to do with that shot right there anyway, as Omot knocks that one down, and the old-fashioned three-point play. He converts to free throw.
Yeah, good free throw shooter at 89% and shoots from behind the arc pretty well too, better than 42%. One of those long-armed Baylor players that you're so accustomed to seeing. Jared can't answer for the Red Raiders, and Omot again up the floor with the ball.
And that's clearly what they're wanting to do, is Omot was going to try to take Culver off the dribble again.
McClure driving inside against Zaire Smith, and more of that one-on-one Baylor basketball. McClure lost a contact lens on that drive, trying to hand it to somebody on the sideline and stay in the game. But I believe Tyson Jolly may enter the game for McClure, who lost a contact lens on that drive, and he's trying to find somebody to help him get it back in over there on the Baylor bench. Brandon Francis also wears contact lenses for the Red Raiders. Headed to the Tech bench. Clark with 4 fouls, working against Hamilton. A lot of steps there, but a foul called on Tommy Hamilton. His 3rd.
Some big long steps right there from Tristan Clark. 1, 2 across the lane. Trying to finish. Tommy Hamilton says, I didn't do it.
What did I do? You know, on this night, Baylor shooting only 33% from the field in their final, well, it wasn't their final non-conference game, but close to the end of that 10-2 run. They played Texas Southern, shot a school record 66% from the field. But that has not been the case tonight. Red Raider defense a bit tougher than what Texas Southern can put on the floor.
So Texas. It's a 7-0 run by the Bears right now, and the Red Raiders haven't scored in a couple of minutes. So
a lot of quick shots, long-range shots by the Red Raiders. Struggling some with that Bear zone defense. Keenan Evans got Omot in the air and made him pay.
Yeah, when you want to end a scoring drought right there, you just go to your senior.
Keenan now with 12 in the ball game equals Kent Williams, who had 1,148 in his Red Raider career. They're now tied for 25th all time in the Red Raiders scoring books. That pushing the Red Raider margin up a bit more. 67-43 with 6:22 to go, and Chris Beard very quick to call timeout after that Keenan Evans jumper, Chris, to stop that Baylor run.
And don't be surprised if you see some sort of trap or some sort of change in philosophy defensively out of the timeout right there. Chris Beard certainly doing that to try to change something, whether it's a half-court trap or whatever. But you saw that move right there by Keenan Evans with the step back, and then this, you know, he pivots and then shot fakes, and it's just he's so smooth. As we're seeing 2 of the better point guards in the league go at it tonight. As Manny LeConte has not had the best night, 3 of 10 from the field and just 8 points, but they rely on him heavily, and he will have better nights ahead.
Red Raiders have 4 in double figures. Keenan one of those with his 12. Here's Tyson Jolly driving again, laid that off for Omot, but this time Justin Gray draws the charge on Jolly.
Justin Gray right there, he was set.
Tough way to make a living, though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Not for you and I, that's for sure.
Just getting run over there underneath the basket. Davide Moretti on for Chris Beard.
In an interesting kind of first Big 12 game for Davide Moretti, as he will adjust to more physical players than he's seen tonight. And LeConte is more of a finesse guard, similar to what Moretti is. You know, Devontae Graham on Tuesday night in Lawrence, Kansas, be a little bit different, but Moretti's gotten quite a bit of playing time tonight as he again adjusts to the college game after playing all that ball in Italy.
4 on the shot clock. Naeem shot off the back iron, and another rebound for Nooney Omot. Here's LeConte from the corner. It has clearly not been his night at all. That miss over the top of the backboard.
They needed a lot to go right. You know, when you find out that Joe Luachuil is out, you know, and then you get Maston back, but knowing that he had not played in a month, You needed a lot of threes to drop. You needed Omot to play well. You needed LeConte to play out of his mind. But just a lot to ask this Baylor team that's shorthanded. As you heard Scott Drew say, we're missing essentially 2 bigs, even though we do have one running up and down the floor. Masson just not himself yet, and he'll get there.
Vidal has returned to the floor for the Bears, has one of his fingers taped up a bit. Odiase's pass deflected there and a little bit slow to the ball. King McClure, the hustle play there for the Bears.
And Norris concerned about the over and back right there, but again, I don't think that he needed to worry about that because Baylor had tipped the ball.
Yeah.
He should have just gone to get the ball, but he kind of, halfway went after it and allows a run out for Baylor.
McClure not going to let Davide Moretti get a shot off, and Justin Gray nearly lost it, did. In fact, Red Raiders have built up a big advantage and have gotten a bit sloppy.
Yeah, and again, it's just some of these turnovers right here. You just can't have that. Because what Chris Beard will tell his team, okay, you're up 67-45, you're at home, you feeling comfortable. Let's pretend like this is 2 minutes to go in Lawrence, Kansas right now. Now, what's that situation look like? Now, play in that kind of mindset. Let's act like it's March, not in late December right now. That's where we want to be. And that's the message he's trying to send to his basketball team right now.
Fade away by Clark is good over Hamilton. Baylor has narrowed the gap to 20 with 4:22 to play. Crowd here at the United Supermarkets Arena trying to cheer on the Red Raiders. Keenan Evans, nice look, 3-ball, it's good.
Boy, that'll calm everybody down right there.
Keenan now with 15. Your senior out of Richardson. Here comes that pick. The Bears like to set up high for a guard, but Jake Lindsey goes the other way against Stevenson. Got inside and way too easy if you're Chris Beard.
Yeah, and again, that's right there where Naeem doesn't want to foul. You don't want to help him out right there, but you got to play a little bit better defense than that.
70-49. Coming down a half minutes to go. Hamilton had it taken away. McClure another steal, but Naeem bats it out of bounds. And we've got a break here in Lubbock. 3:28 remaining. Red Raiders out front of Baylor at 70-49.
You by Plains Capital Bank. Grow with the good guys. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Tonight's copyrighted telecast is the property of Red Raider Sports Properties, LLC, under rights granted by Texas Tech University. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, reproduction, or other dissemination or use of this telecast or any part of it without the expressed written consent of Red Raider Sports Properties, LLC, is prohibited. And tonight it has been a big night for Chris Beard's Red Raiders. Scott Drew, not so much. Foul trouble and lack of a big man certainly have made a big difference in this one. Red Raiders have owned the boards and they have shot the basketball well. Baylor has rallied a bit shooting, but still at 37% for the game. Red Raiders just making it tough on the Bears, Chris, on both ends of the floor tonight.
Yeah, and again, I think it's well pointed out that Baylor has really done some good things here in the last 2 to 3 minutes. And again, they continue that. Texas Tech just lost focus a little bit, but they played a really good game defensively up until about the last 3 to 4 minutes. You look at those some of those sloppy turnovers right there, and the turnover numbers right there, 15-14. Texas Tech has more turnovers in this game than the Baylor Bears, and Norris Odiase has 5 of those. That's something that Chris Beard very unhappy with in that last time out with his junior post player just being sloppy with the basketball right there.
Clark couldn't finish the traditional three-point play, but he's in double figures for the Bears with 10. They've got 3 in double figures, but Manu LeConte is not one of them. Long night for him, finishes with 8, and don't know if we will see him again.
And it was hard to envision any route to victory for Baylor if you don't have Manu LeConte being a big reason why.
Naeem hit that rainbow 3 at the halftime buzzer. They couldn't get that one to go, but Tommy Hamilton up to grab it and will get an opportunity at the free throw line here.
Naeem Stevenson almost hit the scoreboard with that three-point shot to end the half. That was about as high of an arcing shot as we have seen in this building.
Tommy thumps that one off the back iron. Bears who trail by 19. McClure inside, and nice tip by Clark, who's remained in the game with 4 fouls for quite a while. Had 3 of them in the first half. But you can tell with the play of Clark inside, had a 7-footer been there accompanying him, it would have been a much different story in the paint in this ball game tonight. Again, Naeem inside to Tommy Hamilton, who'll get another opportunity at the line.
Yeah, Naeem right with the pass right there on the backside block. You watch right there, he just saw him. And again, whenever you play zone defense, if the ball sticks, you have to kind of know where that pass is going to go as soon as you get it, as Tristan Clark has fouled out. Not able to finish it. He going to get a couple of
Naeem will sit down. Justin Gray has gone to that Red Raider bench as well. Keenan Evans is still there on the court, that is, with Davide Moretti. Brandon Francis is back, and Tommy Hamilton will sit down. 2:16 to go in the ball game. The Red Raiders 72-51 over the Bears.
And just to pass along, we have one final in the Big 12 tonight. West Virginia tops Oklahoma State 85-79. Kansas is up on Texas at the half, 37-34. And Iowa State is up on Kansas State at the half, 52-51. So we are rolling now. And I believe the Sooners travel to Fort Worth tomorrow to take on the Horned Frogs.
Boy, that'll be a big one. I think Oklahoma might be the surprise team in the non-conference portion of the schedule.
As long as Trae Young continues to play like he has.
Yes. Wow. And if Keenan Evans continues this kind of play for the Red Raiders will be right in the mix. Keenan now 25th all-time leading scorer in Red Raider history.
That was his 4th 3 tonight. And again, we touched on that before the game started. Winning that point guard battle, if you will, between LeConte and Evans. Keenan clearly has gotten the better of the Baylor senior tonight.
And he draws the charge there on King McClure. Red Raiders have a board in their locker room. The charge board, you want to see your name up near the top of that, Chris.
Yes, you do. I think there's a big fancy trophy or like a title belt that you get at the end of the year if you finish in first place on that particular charge board. But Chris Beard loves the dirty work plays right there, like taking a charge.
Keenan will sit down after taking that charge, and Zaire will bank one off the glass. It has been mostly that kind of night for the Red Raiders. Josh Webster on here in the closing moments of this one. But Texas Tech is going to win their Big 12, a home opener for the 2nd year in a row. Tyson Jolly, long range shot not there. Brandon Francis. The Red Raiders may have to shoot it one more time, but Chris Beard is going to tell his team to not be in any kind of hurry. In fact, they might not shoot it.
Yeah, he tells them 4 passes. He may take the shot clock violation right here. A lot of respect for Scott Drew and what the Baylor program. And again, Chris Beard will tell you, we want our program to be just like theirs has been. They have gone to several Sweet 16s since 2010. I think 4 of them. Been to the tournament 6 times since 2010. This is what he wants.
Red Raiders are going to win it 77-53 over Baylor in this battle of nationally ranked teams. The Red Raiders ranked 22nd. Baylor was 18, and Texas Tech leads start to finish tonight here at home, 77-53, your final. You're watching the Red Raiders here on Texas Tech TV on Fox. 12 home opener tonight, 77-53 over the Baylor Bears. Chris, time now for your Red Raider Club player of the game.
Yeah, we're going to go with Zaire Smith here. There's multiple, options. You could have gone with Keenan Evans as well, but Zaire Smith, he had a couple of nice dunks, the hustle plays, a couple of big block shots in this game. And I just thought his energy was something that it spread out across things that don't show up in the box score. And the one hustle play right there on the run out that Baylor could have had that runaway dunk right there, and Zaire's hustle stops that. So you just see him right here, just lots of energy right here. Norris finds him right there on the finish down underneath. And again, he brought some confidence, and I think just that energy that it was fun to watch right there as he finishes with 15 points on the game tonight.
And Zaire is standing by right now with our Adam Doyle.
Yeah, Zaire, a 24-point win in front of a packed house. You had 15 points and 4 rebounds tonight. How was your first taste of Big 12 play?
First taste was great. They said it was going to be tough, and it was tough. Baylor, a great team, and we played team ball.
You guys out-rebounded them by 17. This is a team that averages just about 40 rebounds a game, and you held them way under that. What were you guys doing to make that happen?
Man, ever since December 25th, Coach has like 2 people every day. What's the most important thing in this game? Everybody, it's rebound. So he's been preaching rebound, rebound, rebound all week. So that's what we have to do.
You guys clearly are just getting started in the gauntlet that is the Big 12. What is the biggest thing you guys can take away from this performance?
The biggest thing we can take away is continue to play aggressive, limit turnovers, and continue to play hard and well.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it, bud.
Sir.
Guys.
All right, thank you, Adam. Your player of the game brought to you by the Red Raider Club. Your support, their effort, our fearless champions. Keenan Evans had 18 tonight, 2 other Red Raiders in double figures. But, Chris, you lead start to finish. You do a lot of things very well tonight.
There's an old saying that coaches often say, you're good at what you emphasize. You hear Zaire Smith right there. What have they been hearing since Christmas night? Rebounding, 39-21. When you out-rebound teams in the Big 12 Conference at plus 18, I don't care where the game is played, how well you shoot it, you are going to have a chance to win many a ball game when you're plus 18 on the boards, and that was a clinic tonight for Texas Tech on the glass, and they knew that was the key to this game, and they dominated it, which is why they dominated the game.
Mark Vidal had 11 for the Bears. Manu LeConte had 8, and the Bears, of course, played tonight without their big center in the middle who's got a bad ankle, but you'll take that. I mean, that's just part of the game. Zach Smith did not play much tonight for the Red Raiders either after rolling up his ankle. Chris, the final numbers clearly advantage Red Raiders.
Yeah, and you see the bench points right there, 42-4. That's 28 from those 2 true freshmen. Culver with 13, Zaire with 15. And you mentioned that Zach Smith only plays 4 minutes in this game, rolls his ankle. So you're going to end up winning this game by 24 points without your first-team all-conference player in Zach Smith.
Red Raiders do win it tonight over Baylor to go to 12-1 on the year, 1-0 in the Big 12, and that's what you are certainly wanting to get to tonight. 77-53 over the Baylor Bears. That does it for tonight's game. For Adam Doyle, Chris Level, and the rest of the Texas Tech TV on Fox Crew, I'm John Harris. Good night and happy holidays and happy New Year, everybody.